Welcome back to The Awakening. I'm Father Justin Waltz, and this is episode number 3 of my interview with Lance Goetz, who was hit by a train. We left off with a perpetual rosary and those from St. Mary's Central High School back in 1998 by the hundreds that came to pray for Lance, clearly an unleashing of the Holy Spirit to the doctors and nurses that were involved in his operations. They had him stabilized, and he miraculously lived. Lance, if you could continue to share with us, moving forward, what happened next?
Well, I was hearing prayers, first of all, that were the next day. They had mass, they had more rosaries, they had more prayers, and the community of the entire city of Bismarck was praying for me. I ended up finding out that I had people praying for me, like down in Texas. Someone told me that Deion Sanders and his church down in Texas was praying for me. I got letters from people overseas in Ireland that were praying for me. It's amazing how far the prayers were coming from.
And the news traveled.
Yeah.
As it does today, but in 1998, that was a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit different. I was basically under, where they were putting me under with meds that tried to make me so I didn't remember, and surgery after surgery with a ventilator tube for the next couple days. They were removing muscles and putting plates and rods down my legs, and basically they had to cut out a bunch of muscle because it was so demolished and replace it with other muscle on both my legs. In fact, I have a scar down my back that's about a good 17, 18 inches where they had to cut out and pull off my latissimus muscle. That latissimus muscle was then attached from my knee to my ankle, and then skin over it. Where they get the skin from? Well, they pulled that off of one of the parts that wasn't all scarred over on my legs. And they were just piecing me together bit by bit. They were sewing my hand together, and they were put my ear back on and fingers back together because I was missing a few fingers that were just hanging from skin there. And the thing was, I was fighting the whole time because I had family there. I had prayers there. I remember I was told the story about how it was about midnight and I started pulling out my ventilator tube. This is about 2-3 days after. And I kept pulling it out. The nurses in ICU, of course, you can't do that without a doctor's order. So they'd push it back down. And then I'd pull out the tube again, try to, and they'd catch me again. And like 4 or 5 times, I'm seeing my legs demolished. I'm in the hospital and people keep shoving stuff down my throat. And by the time they got a doctor, it was like 3:30 in the morning. They got a doctor to say, fine, if he's fighting it, let him take it out. Because my lungs, they didn't know if my lungs would be able to handle it. They pulled it out, and the first word I said was groovy. Thank you. I appreciate you taking that out. You know, I saw the nurses. I saw what they were doing. They were there to help me. But usually, apparently, people who come from such a discombobulated state of mind, they're usually saying some more colorful words, apparently.
I can only imagine.
And at that time, I can speak. I was able to say to the people that I wanted. I was able to ask for my basketball coach, Gerald Vetter, who's a big, important person to me at that point, and for Monsignor Richter to come in. When Monsignor Richter came in, he confided in me that with everybody coming to him, all these teenagers coming to him saying, what's going to happen, Lance? What's going to happen? He answered in the only way that he could. He said, well, if you have faith and you believe, God has already answered your prayer. He answered to have faith and belief. And he came in and he said, oh, I'm so glad you made it, Lance. It was kind of a comical moment because it was genuine. He's like, he was just being joking too. He's a very funny man. He was joking with me too, but when he came in, they were worried about brain damage as I went face first through the windshield. They were worried about what I could remember. But when Father Richter came in, I asked him to say the prayer that we prayed with him and with Father Vetter, another priest that I had in school that taught me religion. I asked him to say the prayer of St. Francis with me. And being able to say that without a problem helped them realize that I still was functioning a little bit. But it was also tough because of the drugs. I kept forgetting stuff and remembering it and forgetting stuff and remembering it. So my mom had to repeatedly tell me, Lance, you got hit by a train. I remember the last one, the last time this happened. was heartbreaking because my mom, she was there for everything. She was always there for me. And when she told me, I could see her eyes already welling up. But you got to understand, my leg was this big from the muscle and it had tubes in it all over from all the extra fluids that were in there. And everything was bloody bandages everywhere I looked, from my face, from my hands, from my chest. And when she told me this and started crying, I just remember feeling such guilt. And that was my major feeling, I think, in the hospital. From that point on, I wanted to make people happy. I wanted to make people happy because I caused so much problems. But there's an irony to this, because during one of my worst surgeries, it was a long 12 to 15 hour surgery the one where they took the muscle off my back, and then they were going to hook it all up with nerve endings and stuff and blood vessels to my leg. They knew it was going to go into the night, and they told my dad everything's going to be fine. And so he went home because he was going to milk cows. We live on a dairy farm. And my mom stayed there. And it went so far into the night, I was only out at like 3 a.m. I think I came 3 a.m. And the next day when I woke up, I talked to my mom, and she came in, and she was the one to wake me up basically after surgery. And I said, "Mom, I saw you last night. I saw you when you were sleeping." And automatically she thought I was confused. "No, Lance, you can't walk. Your legs are broken." "I know my legs are broken. I know, but I saw you. I was walking around last night." "No, Lance, you can't walk right now. Your legs are..." "Mom, I saw you. I saw you sleeping in the ICU waiting room."
Wow, this is an odd body experience.
"I saw you take the chair, the couch chair that they have there, the uncomfortable thing, and instead of laying on top of it, I saw you move it and put it on its side and sleep behind it on the floor. I saw you, and I went and laid next to you, and I just felt so much love because you were there for me, because you were doing that for me. I just felt such love. I went and put my arm around you, and then I went home and saw Dad. He was snoring on top of the covers. His socks were still on. He's still in his blue jeans and his shirt, laying on top of the covers, and the alarm to get up and go milk cows at 3:30 in the morning was going off. And I smiled at him too. I knew he was tired because of me. I know he was suffering because of me, but for some reason that equated as love. Everything I saw that would drive me nuts otherwise. But in this out-of-body experience, I just saw all those things as love. I helped him wake up, and then came back to where I didn't want to be. Come to find out later that surgery, my heart stopped. There was like 3 times where they had to give me the old jump start again, get me cooking again.
I was actually just thinking, I wonder if you died on the table.
They said 3 times they had to get me pumping again. And that right there, I can't say I saw angels. I can't say I saw anything besides love. And in our most painful moments, because my mom was suffering, my dad was suffering, but instead of feeling bad or guilty, it was like a state of love. That's what I remember.
Well, that's beautiful, Lance. Thank you for sharing that. I know people I've talked to, not a lot. Other priests have talked to people who have died and had similar experiences, and it always reminds me of Paul's letter where he says, 3 things last in the end: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. Every single story I've heard and or actually spoken to somebody about includes like just this all-embracing love once you're out of the body. In this case, how beautiful with your parents, as one was in the emergency room and the other one at home. So unbelievably amazing, Lance. What you've been through, and the story continues on. This is episode number 3. Stay tuned for episode number 4 in my interview with Lance, where we will be moving on talking about Lance's recovery after he left the hospital. Please subscribe. I'm Father Justin Waltz, and this is The Awakening.